What is up, guys? This is going to be a quick non-spoiler review for Captain Marvel. I'm just showing you some stuff real quick to let you know that there is no bias. I am a Marvel, DC, everything fan, so I don't want you to think I'm Marvel when I say this, or I'm DC. I love them all. I love all this comic shit. Just to show you, this is my daughter's bullshit back here. But we got a bunch of long boxes down there filled with both Marvel, DC, bunch of Marvel all in here. Whole Todd McFarlane run for Spider-Man. Like I showed you, a bunch of figures there. Blah blah blah. I'm only doing this to show you that there is no bias. I love Marvel, DC both. So now that we got all that said and done, alright, 2019 Captain Marvel non-spoiler review. The embargo lifts tomorrow, early Tuesday, March 5th. Stars Brie Larson, Samuel Jackson, Jude Law, Annette Bening, and a couple other people. Now, I'm sure everybody here has been hearing all the BS about the Brie Larson and the SJW and all that nonsense. And regardless if you are against everything you've been hearing or you're for everything you've been hearing, if you hate Brie Larson, if you say, don't go into this saying fuck this movie just because of her, regardless if she's right, wrong, whatever the case. I'm not giving an opinion how I feel about her or whatever. All I know is I didn't just invest a good chunk of my life into the MCU for all these films to not go and support and see this film for the MCU just because if somebody did or did not do that. Like, if I feel that what they did is just or unjust, okay? I'm not going to stop paying my allegiance to MCU now that this bullshit's going on. Like I said, regardless if I feel it doesn't matter to me, okay? She's not regardless if I love Brie Larson or not, Captain Marvel's not my favorite superhero in the world regardless, so it doesn't matter. Maybe if be a different case for me if this was Chris Evans, like Cap, saying something on these lines, a controversy or whatever. But regardless, it don't matter. Okay, go see the film, support it. Don't back out on it now just because you're hearing all this BS, whether you believe it or you don't believe it. Okay, so as far as the film goes, I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat. I don't want to do this. Like I hate comparing Marvel DC because I love them both. I honestly do. But as far as if you're gonna do the woman representation film, I think Wonder Woman shits on it by far. But it is a good movie. It's not stellar. It's not superb, but it is a good movie. But it's nothing we haven't seen. Okay, if you want my comparison, on how well it ranks compared to the other MCU films. Okay, it's not as good as, of course, any of the Avengers films. It's not as good as Black Panther. It's not as good as Thor Ragnarok. It's not as good as Cap Civil War. It's not as good as Winter Soldier. Okay, it's basically on the lines, to me, it's better than Ant-Man and Wasp. I wasn't the hugest fan of Guardians Part 2. I love Part 1. I wasn't the biggest fan of Part 2. So me, it's better than Part 2. It's about on the lines of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Doctor Strange, around there. Not quite as good as Thor Ragnarok. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Ragnarok around the first time I seen it. And not as good as Black Panther. And as far as origin story and this and that. Takes place in the 90s, pre-Infinity War, and basically leads into Infinity War. That was all very easily assumed. Okay, it's just what plays out is what's the big deal. Definitely go check it out. Don't sit it out. You know what I mean? There is 2 end credit scenes. 1 for a pretty cool meetup. 2, I won't even say anything about it at all. And aside from that, if I was to give it a grade out of a 10, I would give it a flat 8, a B. Okay? It was decent. The effects were pretty good. There was some wonky shit, but of course there always is. The acting was pretty decent. I loved Samuel Jackson in it. Brie Larson was decent. And for all the people say she doesn't emote, she emotes, okay? She was pretty good. I thought it could have been better. Like, compared to me, for Wonder Woman was a way better representation of a film for a woman lead. And I'm not picking sides here. I love them both. Okay, I know both sides have had hit and misses. But the best thing I could say about Captain Marvel is everything it leads into. It's just making Endgame so much more worth it, man. I can't wait for that. And if you were totally against going to see this because of her, which you shouldn't be, like I said, you should still support Marvel. Regardless, once you get through this film, you can go see this film, even if you whatever. Once you go see this, now it's back to the Avengers, and yeah, she'll be a part of it. But I could tell already she's not. I don't think there's anything to worry. She's not going to be the one to take out Thanos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick review. Like I said, I don't want to get into any spoilers. I don't want to ruin anything because I'm sure by tomorrow everything will be ruined for everybody. And I don't know. Definitely let me know what you think once you see it. Let me know. Some of the CGI was a little wonky. That was my biggest probably complaint about the movie. But aside from that, like I said, B, 8 out of 10. So peace, and Endgame is coming quick. Get ready.